Project Cargo Professionals, we're live at Breakbulk Middle East, and I'm with Ian McLean, Regional Sales Manager for Liebherr. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Nice to meet you in person, Luke.
Nice to meet you, fresh off the plane?
Fresh off the plane, yeah. Just back from Germany.
Good, well, good to have you here. I understand you had a very young start in Liebherr, so tell us a bit about that and how your earlier experience has helped you in the role that you've got now.
I did, yeah. So I started working with Liebherr when I was 16 years old. It was like a mechatronical engineering training program that lasted 3.5 years. So I went to work 3 days a week and to technical college 2 days a week. And after that, I had the pleasure to live in different countries, carrying out different technical roles for different kinds of products that we manufacture. And I've been doing the sales now for the last 8 years, working out of Liebherr Middle East. Been in Dubai for 11 years in total. And how does the technical experience help me in my sales process? I suppose I can have detailed discussions with all the stakeholders in the port or on the client side, be it the maintenance department, health and safety, operations, all the way up to the commercial teams. And I believe that builds the required trust and confidence to eventually move ahead and go ahead with such a big procurement.
And you mentioned the ports. I know you do a lot with port operators in the region. What are they prioritizing in terms of what they need from you, and how have their priorities shifted over the years?
I think the priorities as such haven't really changed much. It's more the way that things are being analyzed by the clients, with digitalization and all the data that's available. So there's a lot more requirements from the client side towards us on what they can do with the data that the crane produces and how they can then use that to optimize all their processes.
So you're constantly having to evolve in terms of what you can offer?
Yeah, 100%, yeah, which we're doing. Yeah. And
you've said before that in some ports a mobile harbour crane can actually make more sense than a ship-to-shore crane. What's driving that choice?
If you have a pure container terminal, then a ship-to-shore crane is usually the way to go because the productivity is unmatched. Yeah. But sometimes you're in locations where you have, for example, an existing quay which is not strong enough to support an STS crane. There, a harbour mobile crane could be a good solution. And then also, when you're looking at multi-purpose terminals that have different kinds of cargo that they have to handle, then the versatility of a harbour mobile crane comes into play as the weapon of choice then for such scenarios.
Yeah, and a lot of ports in this region want to be multi-purpose. So how do your products help them to achieve that versatility?
Yeah, so if we're talking about a harbour mobile crane, the versatility you have there is you can attach a grab for dry bulk, you can attach a container spreader to do containers, you can do project cargo, heavy lifting. We have some amazing assistance systems as well, such as synchrotronic, for example, where you can connect two cranes together and they can then work in tandem with only one operator. So normally if you do a tandem lift, you have to reduce the load chart by 25%. With this system, you don't have to do that, so you get the full lifting capacity of the machines. And there's many others as well, but just one of them as an example.
And I read an article that you wrote some cranes in this region are still going 25, 30 years on. Yeah. How has that come to be, and how do you support those with the older cranes?
Yeah, so if you look after your crane properly, you can get a lot of life out of it. 25 to 30 years is not. It's not a one-time thing. There's a lot of cranes out there. Obviously, it depends on the nature of the operation as well. If you have a dry bulk machine that does 4,000 or 5,000 hours a year, it's going to be a little bit difficult. But if you take good care of it, you do all the maintenance, and sometimes you have to exchange components, modify the cranes to a newer standard, which can all be supported by us as well. The lifetime. Yeah,
and we read a lot about electric cranes and hybrid cranes. Where is Liebherr in that?
There's a big shift in the industry. There was big commitments made in terms of net zero goals by the UAE, Saudi Arabia. So these commitments now have to be translated into actions. Yeah, so we get a lot of inquiries, and based on that trend, I would say we are also evolving our portfolio to cater for that.
And that trend is still ongoing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean the commitments are 2050, 2060. So we're going to see a lot more of that, I think, going forward. Yeah.
And I saw Liebherr has a new branch in Riyadh.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, so I mean I'm stationed at Liebherr Middle East here in Dubai. Liebherr has their own subsidiary in Saudi Arabia, SLC. The new Riyadh branch has just been opened, as you said. I suppose it provides, additional proximity to the clients, additional capacity in terms of supporting the clients in Saudi Arabia. I also saw that the Minister of Economy from Germany was in Saudi Arabia, I think, last week. So there's big ties between the two countries as well.
Yeah.
So it's good for the country, I think, to see that added commitment from Liebherr.
So another 25 years at Liebherr?
Yes, I think I'm institutionalized at this point. And I just want to say as well, it's not uncommon in the Liebherr world to see people that have been with a company for decades. And I think that shows what a great company it is, and let's say what's invested into the people. And then in return, the company gets the trust and the commitment and the loyalty towards the company as well. So yeah, great place.
I saw that. I drove out to Nenzing one day and met your colleagues there. So yeah, I saw that myself. It's and great facility you've got there.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much for your time.
You're most welcome. Thanks for the opportunity.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. Thank you.